Welcome to In Good Company, where relationships drive results, with your host, Lisa Kilrea. In each episode, we explore how great leaders build trust, inspire teams, and turn meaningful connections into real success.
Okay, let's jump into it. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, depending on where you're joining from. I'm excited to welcome you to session 2 of 3 of WSI's AI Webinars for Manufacturers series. Quick intro of myself for those who did not attend session 1. I'm Lisa Kilrea, managing partner of WSI eResults. I've been the owner of my WSI AI and digital marketing agency for just about 16 years, and I look forward to spending the next 30 to 40 minutes with you. I also have Tracy Woods, my trusty sidekick, who will be helping me with any technical issues and will be keeping track of questions as they come through. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. We have a lot to cover. I do have a few admin items to cover. The session is being recorded and we'll send the link to everyone who registered. At the end, I'll save a few minutes for questions and answers, so please feel free to send your questions through via chat throughout the webinar. In terms of the agenda for today, I'll begin with a quick intro to WSI for those who were not on the last session. Then I'll do a quick recap of session 1, sort of like when you're streaming a show and you get a recap of season 1 before you start season 2. Then the bulk of our time will be spent taking a deep dive into the AI use spectrum, which we very briefly discussed during session 1. And then we'll go through some AI case studies and wrap up with Q&A. Let's jump into it. As I mentioned, today is the second of 3 webinars in our series, and we're in the second. The third of the 3 sessions will take place in 2 weeks on October 22nd. Each session will build off the previous session's content, with the final session on the 22nd culminating in detailed discussion on building an AI roadmap. If you find today's session helpful, I encourage you to share the registration link with colleagues or team members who might benefit from joining the last session of our series. We will be providing recordings for all 3 sessions. Brief intro of who WSI is. We are a global digital marketing and technology network with 30 years of experience helping businesses succeed online. I'm the president and owner of WSI eResults, like I mentioned, specializing in AI and digital marketing for B2B companies. I am physically located in Chicago. The weather is lovely here, and our team serves clients who operate nationwide and internationally. With both my own team and the strength of WSI's global network, we can deliver expertise across every area of AI and digital marketing, something very few agencies can match. Allow me a moment to brag. A few weeks ago, it was announced and brought to my attention that we are awarded the honor of 2025 Agency of the Year by the Web Marketing Association. This is the 3rd time in 6 years we've received this award. An achievement, I believe, reflects the talent of our network, the strength of our partnerships, and the strategic mindset between everything we deliver. Since this webinar series is focused on artificial intelligence, I'd like to introduce our AI team, led by Robert Mitchell, our Chief AI Officer. Along with Robert, myself, Kundan, and Seamus, we're supported by a strong group of AI development specialists. At the same time, I don't want to overlook our digital team. They bring deep expertise in SEO, paid advertising, content development, web development, and hands-on experience with just about every major technology platform, which few agencies can claim. All right, let's take a quick trip back to session 1 for a little recap. We started by going back in time all the way to the 1990s, otherwise known as 2 years BG, before Google. Hard to believe, but at that time, a lot of so-called experts were predicting the internet would never take off. Newspapers were still king, and you needed to find something, you flipped open the yellow pages. Fast forward to November 30th, 2022, the day ChatGPT was born. Just 3.5 months later, ChatGPT 4 came on the scene. And then just a few months ago, in August, ChatGPT 5 officially arrived. The pace of progress has been incredible. We talked about adoption rates too. How long did it take for major platforms to reach 1 million users? Netflix took 3.5 years, Airbnb 2.5 years, Facebook 10 months, and believe it or not, ChatGPT took 5 days to get to 1 million subscribers. That's wild. We also looked at how quickly the technology itself has evolved. The first version of ChatGPT scored in the bottom 10% on the bar exam. Only 3.5 months later, GPT-4 was scoring in the top 10%. Huge leap. Another fun comparison, ChatGPT-4 has an estimated IQ of around 155. Einstein's was about 160. And some experts predict that within a year, these models could reach the equivalent of 1,600, or roughly 10 times Einstein's IQ. That's mind-boggling. Finally, we took a quick look at the history of AI by decade. It all started in the 1950s, when it was more of a theoretical concept. Every decade brought along some sort of progress, but it wasn't until 2022 that AI really went mainstream. In other words, we've moved from decades of theory to everyday impact, right here, right now. These next two quotes really highlight the scale of what's happening with AI, which is why I left them in the deck and I'm repeating them. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, has said that AI will leave a bigger impact on humanity than fire, electricity, or the internet. In other words, we're not talking about another tool. We're talking about a foundational shift in how the world works. And Bill Gates has called AI one of the most revolutionary technologies he's seen in his lifetime, right up there with the personal computer. Coming from someone who has lived through and shaped the PC era, that really tells you just how transformational this is expected to be. The point is, when leaders at the center of the technology world are describing AI in these terms, we have to pay attention. What does this mean for your business? For the first time in history, we can actually scale knowledge work, not just physical labor. Think about that for a moment. It's like suddenly being handed a team of highly capable college graduates who are ready to help for free. You'd have an engineering grad, a data scientist, content writers, designers, an MBA, even a medical student if you need it. Of course, AI isn't a perfect replacement for people. But the point is, these tools can perform knowledge tasks at scale, instantly and around the clock. The question is for you, how could you use that kind of capability today? Now, moving into new content for today's session, let's talk about the spectrum of AI use for manufacturers. The point of this chart is it's important to recognize that AI isn't just one thing or a one and done. It exists on a broad spectrum of applications for manufacturers. On the far left, you'll see examples of AI already built into the platforms you may use every day. These companies have quietly been embedding AI for years to make their software smarter. Things like live chat, predictive text, or even ERP recommendations. On the far right, we see the most advanced stage, AI agents and copilots. These tools don't just enhance a single platform, they actively work across platforms, guiding decisions and even automating workflows. Between these two ends of the spectrum are 3 additional stages. In the following slides, I'll walk you through each of these 5 stages with a practical example of how manufacturers and distributors can take advantage of them today. Welcome to stage 1, existing AI in platforms. This stage is all about taking advantage of the AI that's already built into the tools you use every day. Things like your CRM, ERP, HR, or customer service systems. These built-in features quietly automate repetitive tasks, helping your team save time, reduce costs, and focus on higher value work. For most manufacturers, this is the easiest and lowest risk place to start with AI because the tools already exist in place and the benefits show up quickly. As we go through the example in a moment, think about areas in your own business where routine tasks pile up and how the technology you already have could be doing more of that heavy lifting. Let's start with live chat and customer service, one of the most common entry points for AI. On the left side of the slide, you can see the core idea. AI-powered chatbots handle the routine, repetitive questions that customers ask every single day. Why does this matter? Because when people are waiting for answers, things like order status or shipping info, they want speed. If your team has to manually respond to all of those, response times go up and customers get frustrated. Now look at the right side of the slide. Without AI, agents get bogged down by those repetitive questions and the volume slows everything down. With AI in place, chatbots can instantly handle the FAQs while your human agents focus on the complex or more technical issues. The key takeaway here is that AI isn't replacing customer service. It's enhancing it. It's making the process faster, more consistent, and freeing your people up to focus on higher value work. And just to give you a few real world examples of platforms already doing this well, I've got a handful of them here, so jot them down. HubSpot Service Hub, Zendesk AI, Intercom Fin AI Agent, Drift, and finally, ChatFuel. These are plug and play tools, no data science team needed, and they can start improving customer experiences right away. Let's move into stage 2, semi-custom AI solutions. At this stage, companies start layering AI around their existing systems, connecting data, automating alerts, tailoring models to fit their specific operations. This isn't about buying new software. It's about building small, smart add-ons that solve real business problems. And while there aren't specific off-the-shelf tools to buy at this stage, AI companies can help clients identify the right approach, whether that's integrating AI into existing systems, connecting APIs, or developing lightweight pilots tailored to their data. So as we go through the example in the next slide, think about where small targeted AI automations could make your processes more proactive and less reactive. Let's start with inventory alerts. On the left side of the slide, you can see the key idea. AI is constantly monitoring stock levels and flagging shortages before they cause problems. Why does this matter? Because if a critical part runs out, production grinds to a halt, and that can cost thousands or even millions, depending on the product. Now look at the right side of the slide. Without AI, shortages often get noticed too late. That leads to downtime, halted production, sometimes even costly rush orders to get parts shipped overnight. With AI, the system flags the shortage early and suggests a reorder at the right time. That way, production keeps moving, downtime is avoided, and costs stay under control. The takeaway here is simple. AI doesn't react to shortages, it helps you prevent them. Stage 3 is where AI shifts from automation into insight. Here, AI starts delivering forward-looking intelligence, helping leaders make better decisions based on data, not just gut instinct. Whether it's demand forecasting, market trends, or financial modeling, this stage is about seeing what's coming next instead of reacting after the fact. So, as we go through the next example, think about where your business could use stronger forecasting or faster data-driven decision-making. Let's talk about demand forecasting. On the left side of this slide, you see the description. AI predicts customer demand using data trends. Why is that important? Because in manufacturing, producing too much or too little both hurt the business. Overstocks tie up capital and create waste, while understock means missed sales and disappointed customers. On the right side, the graphic shows a clear contrast. Without AI, forecasts often rely on gut feel or outdated spreadsheets. That leads to overstock situations or empty shelves when demand spikes, With AI, forecasts are based on real-time data, seasonality, and external factors. The system can predict spikes in demand and align production with customer needs. The big takeaway is that AI aligns supply with demand more accurately than humans can, reducing waste and maximizing sales. Stage 4, organizations are building custom AI solutions designed specifically for their workflows. This is where AI optimizes resources and processes for growth. From managing energy usage to improving supply chain visibility or pricing decisions. It's about moving beyond efficiency and using automation as a true growth lever. As we cover the next example, think about the processes in your business that could benefit from being streamlined or self-managed through AI. Let's begin with energy optimization. On the left, you see the concept. AI monitors energy usage and automatically optimizes settings. Why does this matter? Because energy is one of the largest costs for manufacturers, and inefficient use drives expenses up. At the same time, many companies have sustainability goals and need to reduce their carbon footprint. On the right side, the graphic shows a factory with peak energy usage at midday. Without AI, energy loads are unmanaged, costs are high, waste is high, and the business pays for it. With AI, the system shifts loads intelligently, balancing usage to avoid peaks. It saves money and reduces energy waste. The key takeaway, AI lowers costs while supporting sustainability goals. It's a win-win for the bottom line and for the environment. Finally, we reach stage 5, AI agents and co-pilots. This is the most advanced transformational stage where AI becomes a business partner, not just a tool. Co-pilots can support finance, operations, and strategy, making recommendations or even decisions in real time. At this level, AI helps guide the direction of the company, aligning decisions, optimizing strategy, and unlocking entirely new business models potentially. As we wrap up this stage, think about what a true AI co-pilot could look like in your organization, helping your team move faster, smarter, and more strategically. Let's start with the finance co-pilot. On the left, you see the concept. AI runs financial scenarios, generates insights, and recommends actions. Why is this so powerful? Because finance leaders need to respond quickly to risks and opportunities, and manual analysis just takes too long. On the right side, you see a scenario where steel prices increased by 15%, raising costs by $250,000. Without AI, finance teams spend weeks modeling the scenario, by which time the damage may already be done. With AI, the system runs the scenario instantly, highlights the $250,000 impact, and recommends switching to a new supplier, turning a potential loss into a savings opportunity. The key takeaway, AI doesn't just crunch numbers. It makes recommendations, enabling faster and smarter financial decisions. Now that we've seen the 5 stages of the AI use spectrum, from basic awareness all the way to transformation, the next logical question is, where should we start? That's really the question of the day. What makes the most sense for your company? When it comes to AI, the first step should always be strategy. Just like random acts of marketing don't produce long-term results, random acts of AI won't either. You need a clear plan. That plan starts by identifying your biggest opportunities and prioritizing them based on cost versus benefit. It seems obvious. From there, the best approach is to start small. Focus on quick wins that can demonstrate efficiency gains and measurable ROI. Once those early wins are in place, it's important to track results, celebrate the success stories, and build momentum across the organization. That's what helps you scale in a structured, step-by-step way, rather getting lost in one-off experiments. And the best place to begin is with an AI readiness assessment. It's a 45-minute discovery session where we dive deep into one area of your business. For example, marketing and sales. And we explore questions across 5 topic categories. The output is a tailored report with practical recommendations, ROI calculations, and a clear roadmap to help you prioritize and implement AI initiatives with confidence. Let's talk a bit more about this assessment, which really is the best place to start. To make sure you take a strategy-first approach and don't just throw noodles at the wall, WSI strongly recommends beginning the process with a readiness assessment. Typically, we'll ask you to come prepared to the phone call. That might mean doing a little bit of research ahead of time or pulling in a colleague if they're closer to the details we'll be discussing. Then we'll guide you through 5 main areas. First, we'll want a little bit more information about your business and the context in which you operate. Second, your current level of AI adoption and familiarity. Third, we'll want to better understand how your marketing and sales operations are structured and how they work together. Fourth, we'll discuss your lead generation and sales processes. And finally, we'll talk about customer engagement and personalization. This information will give us a clear, well-rounded view of where AI can add the most value to your company and gives us the info we need to prepare an initial recommendation or roadmap for you, complete with options, ROI calculations, and cost-benefit numbers. An important question to ask yourself is, why is AI relevant right now? And here's why we recommend starting with an AI readiness assessment sooner rather than later. The bottom line is AI is driving 5 to 10 times ROI for small and mid-sized manufacturers. And the beauty of it is it's affordable. It scales with your business, and you don't need a big in-house tech team to take advantage of it. Most importantly, AI can directly help you tackle the challenges manufacturers are feeling every day: labor shortages, rising inflation, intense global competition. That's why this is such a timely opportunity. The companies that start exploring AI now are going to have a serious competitive advantage. Here's where AI gets really practical. It's not just about cool technology. It's about dollars and cents and how AI can help manufacturers offset rising costs. Manufacturers are being hit with rising costs from every angle: tariffs, labor shortages, supply chain pressures. The good news is AI can help identify cost savings and efficiency gains that directly offset those challenges. For example, automating quoting and admin tasks reduces labor costs. Predicting churn helps you keep more revenue instead of losing customers. Smarter inventory planning lowers waste and carrying costs, and streamlining hiring and training saves money while getting people productive faster. Most importantly, the AI readiness assessment helps you uncover which of those opportunities are the biggest in your business, so you can prioritize the ones that will make the biggest dent in offsetting tariff and cost pressures. Now, the real question is your company AI ready? There's really only a few very simple questions that need to be asked to determine your readiness. 1, do you have access to data? 2, are you and or your leadership team open to automation? And 3, are you willing to pilot and test? Let's talk about key takeaways for today's session. We've gone through a lot of information today, but the key takeaways are simple. AI is affordable and relevant to SMBs. Second, start with small wins that prove ROI. Thirdly, you don't need a big IT team. And fourth, there's a clear path to adoption. As we wrap up, I'd like to go through several real live examples of AI use cases. We will discuss what we did and what the AI solution produced. I just want to know that names of our clients are not shared due to NDAs that we were required to sign. So the first one, let's look at a real live example from a metal fabrication company that was struggling with demand forecasting. Their production schedules were based on historical averages rather than actual market signals. That meant they were often caught in the worst of both worlds, running out of their fast-moving SKUs while sitting on excess stock of slow movers. This not only created costly late deliveries and higher carrying costs, but it also left sales and operations out of sync with what customers truly needed. To address this, they deployed an AI-powered demand forecasting model that pulled in ERP, CRM, and even external market data. Instead of relying on gut feel or old data, the system generated SKU-level forecasts with confidence ranges. Those forecasts led directly into production planning and purchasing systems, which meant the entire supply chain could communicate proactively, from sales to procurement to operations. The results were impressive. Forecast accuracy improved by 30%, finished goods inventory dropped by 25%, and stockouts were reduced by 15%. Beyond the numbers, customer satisfaction improved significantly because they could finally deliver the right products at the right time. As their operations director put it, for years, we struggled with balancing too much of some products and not enough of others. The AI forecasting tool gave us clarity where we never had it before, helping us run leaner and meet customer demand with confidence. This is a great example of how AI can take the guesswork out of production and transform it into a competitive advantage. Now that we've seen how AI can transform forecasting, let's look at another area where speed and accuracy make a huge difference: quoting. This industrial equipment manufacturer had a big challenge. Their quoting process was manual and heavily reliant on engineers. It typically took 2 to 3 business days just to get a quote out the door. That delay meant they often lost opportunities to competitors who could respond faster. On top of that, the sales team was stretched thin, trying to balance prepping quotes with prospecting for new business. To solve this, they implemented an AI-powered quoting assistant trained on their pricing database, past quotes, and product catalog. The tool could automatically generate a first draft quote based on uploaded spec sheets or drawings. Engineers still reviewed it and approved before anything went out, but the heavy lifting was automated. The system also integrated directly with their CRM, so every quote was logged without extra paperwork. The impact was dramatic. Quote cycle time became 85% faster. What used to take days now takes less than an hour. Each engineer could process 5 times more quotes, and because prospects got answers faster, win rates increased. They also reduced overtime costs since engineers weren't buried in repetitive quoting work. As their VP of sales summed it up, our sales team can now focus on customer relationships instead of paperwork. What used to take days now takes less than an hour, and we're closing more deals because prospects get answers right away. This shows how AI doesn't just streamline internal processes, it directly helps capture more revenue by meeting customer expectations quickly. Our last example of the day comes from a food and beverage industry company where consistency and quality control are absolutely critical. The challenge here was that quality inspections relied heavily on human operators manually checking packaging and labeling. That led to inconsistent detection of defects like mislabels and damaged goods. On top of that, recalls and customer complaints were costly, and the manual inspection process slowed down production lines significantly. To address this, the company deployed an AI-powered computer vision system paired with high-resolution cameras directly on the production line. This solution provided real-time detection of mislabels, damage, or packaging errors, and automatically rejected faulty items without slowing throughput. Beyond just catching errors, the integrated analytics identified recurring defects and their root causes. giving the team actionable insights to prevent issues from happening again. The results were significant: a 95% defect detection rate, 50% fewer recalls and complaints, faster throughput, and an improved brand reputation. As their operations director put it, this system didn't just reduce waste, it transformed production, improved customer trust by ensuring consistent quality. So now for the good news. I hope you enjoyed the case studies. I'm offering a parting gift to all of you for attending today's session. I'm offering a free AI assessment. If you would like to take advantage of this, please reply to me in chat or email me at my email, which is Kilrea, Kilrea, at WSI The email address will also be in the hard copy of the deck that gets emailed to you also afterwards. I'll follow up with you and schedule our discovery call. Please be sure to include your name, email, and phone number in your DM or email to me. And just to add more info about what you will get, the report has a value of approximately 1,500 and will be approximately 35 pages in length. It's extremely comprehensive. It's customized with recommendations on how you can start proving AI implementation ROI within 30 to 60 days. I hope you enjoyed today's session and better understand the magnitude of what the AI revolution can offer you and your manufacturing company in terms of efficiencies and cost savings. It's been a pleasure spending the last 35 or 40 minutes or so together. I look forward to seeing you again at session 3 on October 22nd. Now I will open up the rest of our time to questions. And thank you, Tracy, for filtering through the questions as they came through and sending them to me. Let's see how many I can get through in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Question number 1. How do you decide which AI pilot to run first? Do you start with marketing, operations, customer service, or somewhere else within the company? That's a great question. The ideal pilot area really depends on the potential impact and feasibility. We usually look for high leverage, low friction areas, for example, where existing data is clean, decision cycles are fast, and ROI can be measured fairly quickly. So it could be, something simple in customer service, installing an off-the-shelf platform to your website, or it could be something in operations or supply chain relating to inefficiencies or other pain points. So that's partly what the AI readiness assessment will help you determine, where the biggest bang for the buck is and what functional area that opportunity exists in. Hopefully that answered your question sufficiently. Okay, second question, a little bit more difficult. What are the main risks or pitfalls when scaling 85%, when scaling AI beyond a pilot, and how do you guard against them? So that's a really good question. And, I didn't include this piece of data in today's session, but there was an MIT study that came out recently that said 95% of AI pilots don't succeed. And really, the reason that happens is that people don't have a roadmap and they don't have a strategy, and they haven't thought through all the intricacies of it. So there are a lot of pitfalls that could happen. I mean, some of the common risks are relate to the data, data drift or model decay, lack of stakeholder buy-in. So if only one team owns the project, it struggles to spread. There's no cross-functional buy-in to the whole process. There's also operational integration risks. Again, it doesn't help if your AI output sits in a silo. You need to integrate it into workflow so you can scale it into your bigger projects. So there are lots of ways to goof it up. Let's just leave it at that. And the more upfront planning and strategy you do will minimize the chance of failure. Okay, here's a good one. How do you measure ROI for AI projects, especially for ones that produce softer outcomes like improved decision quality or employee time savings? Great question. ROI for AI doesn't always come from direct revenue gains. You can measure impact using a mix of efficiency metrics, quality metrics, and business outcome metrics. I know in a couple of the AI examples I went through, there were brand trust issues or customer service issues. So it's not always revenue driven. Like I said, efficiencies, quality, and business outcomes are often ways that you can measure success. Okay. Looks like we have time for one more question. Oh, this is a good one, and I should have gone through this one first because it's probably the most common question we get asked. Will implementing AI make my employees obsolete or replace certain jobs? That is a very valid concern and one we take very seriously. In almost every case we've seen, AI is most effective when it augments human work, automating repetitive, low-value tasks so that people can focus on higher value activity and work. So it's not about getting rid of people. AI cannot run itself. There always needs to be a human involved, and there's always more work to get done that hasn't been able to get done. So our experiences, these AI projects are not necessarily eliminating people. They're putting the right people in the right spots and allowing the business to be more successful. Okay, awesome. So that wraps up our session for today. Thank you for attending second session, and I look forward to seeing you again on October 22nd. Have a great rest of the week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to In Good Company, where relationships drive results, with Lisa Kilrea. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay connected and keep building relationships that drive results.